So welcome everybody to another episode of Radio ISR. And as you can see from our backdrop, it's all about social media because it seems to be a big buzzword in the company at the moment. And we've been getting kind of lots of emails in, certainly over the last couple of months, saying it's great that we talk about all this social media, but people want to learn more about how to do it. So we've tried to mix it up a little bit for this episode, because what we're going to do is we're going to look at some tutorials that are going to help you basically not just talk about it, but actually show you how to do it at the same time. So I also want to welcome in our special guest, Mr. Perry Williams.
Hello.
And Perry. Yeah, so Perry's here
Straight
now.
from the UK.
Straight from the UK. Back to my old stomping ground.
You don't recognise this place, do you?
I don't know.
So good old Perry is here today to help us, of course, with our social media, because he's a little bit of an expert himself, that's for sure. You know, he pioneered a bit when he was an ISR. He's looking at me now.
I wouldn't say an expert. I'm blessed to have experts around me.
He has lots of
I'm
experts.
the voice of the people today.
Yeah,
Terry Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he definitely has the help of Chris Law.
That's for sure, yeah.
No doubt about that, you know. So, but there's actually another reason why we got you here, Perry, and, you know, and there was actually settled an argument. It was because myself and Dave have many's a time in Radio ISR talked about the importance of video. And Dave has used a percentage of 1,200% more likely to watch a video as opposed to read it. And I've said it's 1,400%. Now I could go back and look at the previous episode to see exactly what percent it was.
1,400%.
No way. How many percent then? How many percent did I say? Hang on.
You said about, I reckon you said about, they're about 700% or something like that.
Carlos, how's your memory?
I know my memory is bad. You're not going to get me the memory.
So hopefully you can tell us.
This is in a PowerPoint that we put up
Yeah,
a couple of years
and
back.
it was in one of our previous podcasts.
And I believe it's 1,200%.
Well, you would believe it's not, because I actually went back and looked at all those stuff, and it was 14,000%.
14,000%.
So
We're way off.
yeah,
I thought it
we
was
were way
14.
off. That's
Probably
for sure.
making the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Right.
No. That's what he said on his podcast. But regardless of that,
Oh, I said it.
You said
I
it.
don't take any notice.
Anyway,
I'll tell you anything.
of the percentage, regardless of it, we definitely know that people are more likely to watch a video than they are to read it. So it doesn't matter what it is. It's a huge amount more percentage-wise. And I think we're all guilty of the same thing. We just like watching television and everything else. So this brings us on nicely to the segment that I'm going to be doing, which is how to create a professional-like video, because there's a lot of people out there right now that say, hey, you know, I like the idea of doing videos, you know, but, you know, I need to know a little more about it. So what we decided to do, instead of just talk, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to put a nice professional video together. And I hope you like the tutorial, and I hope it motivates you when you get to the other side to say, hey, I can do that as well. So let's go ahead and watch the tutorial, and then we'll see how you feel afterwards.
I bet you 1,200% more than we're going to watch it.
So welcome everybody to this tutorial on how to shoot a video. So first and foremost, we've got to get the right gear. So you can see there, basically, the three things I'm recommending is a nice tripod that fits a kind of an iPhone that has the proper fitting for that. A Rode microphone, basically, and this one is called a SMARTLAVPLUS. And then finally, an extension cable for it, which is about 20 foot. And all in all, you can see in there, your total investment basically is going to be around about $113. So not a lot of money. So you can see there from the setup, there's your tripod, you can see the phone, and then you can see that Ewan is completely wired all the way from the phone all the way up to him with that 20-foot extension lead. In addition to that, you can see now an up close up here of the phone and how it's attached to that special tripod. And more importantly, you can see that Ewan is framed very well in the shot. Another little tip is when you're recording, only put your volume about 3/4 of the way, because it's a very, very powerful microphone, this particular one. So that's the best setting for it, so you don't become too loud. So for this demonstration, basically, I'm going to recommend that we use HitFilm Express, which is free software, and it's very, very good. It does require you to download it, and it does require you to sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook, but I tell you, something that is well worth it for something that is free. So all you got to do is hit new and just go with the standard setup, just hit OK. So all you need to do first of all is import your video. So I usually have that in a folder sitting on my desktop. So I've imported the video, as you can see. And now I'm going to drag it over to the timeline, okay, that it's over there. So that's the first of the timeline. And then as you can see, I've just made it a little bit bigger so I can see the whole of it in there. Now, what I want to do now is I want to edit the video a little bit, of course. I want to cut off the areas I'm not going to use. So very simply, all I do is click that little razor blade, go over there, click it, and then all I have to do then is go back then and touch the area, hit the delete off my keyboard, and it disappears. So I can drag that back over now to the start because that's where I wanted to start. And then I'm going to do exactly the same for the end. That's the area I know I want to delete. Get the razor blade out, cut it, and then go up there, press the arrow key, highlight that area, and then hit the delete. So there you go. So now I have it all perfectly trimmed. I also want to check the volume on it. I know for a fact that this is a little bit hot. So I want to do is basically adjust the volume down like I showed it there. And I can see from the side that it's not peaking. So I'm happy with the volume setting on there. So the next thing I want to do is insert a track, because this is going to allow me to add different tracks onto this particular video. So I'm going to import now these templates, which I'm going to make available to you. So this template here, I can then drag over the video. So put it on with the new track that I just created. And as you can see there, I can now make it fit the frame, because sometimes when you do this, they don't always fit. So then I just right click it, fit the frame. And then I'm going to drag it here, and I'm going to show you straight away by adding this PNG. You can see the video looks a little bit more professional. You got the MAS, and then you got the brands down below. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller in the timeline, because I have other little templates that I want to put in there, little overlays. So let's just say for the moment, I'm just going to put that first one there. Then I'm going to drag this one here called 1B, and I have a reason for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that onto the timeline as well. And you can see I've just put it beside it. And that one there, I'm going to drag, and I'm going to make it nearly cover most of the video, but I'm going to leave a little space towards the end. And then do the same thing. And I'm going to import the final one that I have in there, which is 1A. And I'm going to drag that right to the end. And as you can see here, I'm going to drag it so it finishes up at the very end of the video. There you go. As I said before, some of these don't fit straight away. So you right click it, and then basically you bring it in and you fit the frame. See that transform, fit the frame, and there you go. Now they all perfectly fit. And quickly now, if I can just go over the whole video, I can see basically how those overlays look, and they look pretty good. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert another track, and this is where I'm going to put the text. So I'm going to go to the area where I want to put text there, on that blank area there. And then I'm going to do is basically press the A, and then that allows me to insert the text. In this case, I'm just pasting it in, but the problem is it's in white because that's what it's preset and you won't see it there. So I go all the way over there where it says text, click down, find the colors, and then I'm going to change the color to the nice dark red MAS. There it is. Press OK. And now you can see it appeared on the screen. But of course, that's not big enough. So now I can go up again. I can adjust the size of it. Very simple. So then I can keep clicking it, adjust the size. And I can also, of course, change the type of font as well, which I've just done there as well. So there you go. I've typed in deal of the week, basically. Of course, it's not exactly where I want it to be. So by clicking that little arrow up the top, I can now move it where I want. So in this case, I'm going to drag it right around the middle so it looks nice. There you go. Okay. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to copy and paste this text again, move it further along the timeline. And this time I'm going to put in Ewan Spencer MAS Vicenza, paste that in there. Then I'm going to drag that in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to drag that a bit further along the video because I want that to be, towards most of the message. And then finally, one more copy and paste. And I'm going to put my final message right at the very, very end here, which will be the phone number and the email address. So again, it's another paste job over. And then drag that in, and then I'm just going to perfectly align it so it finishes exactly where the video finishes, which gives me a little hint. When I drag it, it'll turn red. There you go. And now the same thing, I'm going to go into that area, and then I'm going to change the text. And it was a little bit too big, so again, I have to just change the size of it, and now I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And again, pressing the arrow button, and there you go. Press the arrow button, and now I'm going to move it around and center it and make it a little bit more nicer and more appealing. There you go now. Cool. So there you go. So now quickly run over the video. There's deal of the week. There's Ewan Spencer and Vicenza. And then finally, phone number and email address all across the same timeline. And all, like I said, is just on there. Copy and paste those text boxes. So the thing I have to do now is I've got to make sure that I tell the video exactly how much to record. So I've dragged over that timeline at the very, very top, because if I don't, it will record wherever the length is. So now I have it all lined up. The very, very top See where it's all in blue, right to the end. And I'm pretty much telling basically when I go to render the video that is the exact point of start and where it finishes. So speaking of rendering, now I'm going to do it. All I'm going to do is hit export. And you can see it exports it down to the bottom. I usually just right click here. And what I do is basically I change it to Facebook 720 HD. So it's not too big of a file. Right click it and then I hit the render. And as you can see there, I sped it up there, but the video opens up and off I go. And there is our video. Okay, so let me just hit the go back on it because I want to save this file. And why this is because the next time is going to make this a lot easier. So we're going to file save as, and in this case, we're just going to call it video template because this is essentially what it's going to be. So here we go. So now I have a video template. So the next time I would open it up, all I have to do is basically hit file, open, find my little video template, right? And it provided everything where it was before, then it would open up. So now all I have to do is delete the old video, for example. In this case, say I just created a new one. So then I can import the new video, put that on the timeline. There you go. And the great thing is all the stuff I've done above it now is still there. So now if I just wanted to change just the text, I can do that. I can just go into each of those little text boxes and then go in there and change the text. Instead of deal of the week, now it can be deal of the day, for example. So this is great. It's going to save you a lot of time because once you've done one of these, it's much easier to replicate it again and again.
So there you go. So what do you think, guys?
Great stuff. Great stuff. I definitely agree. I mean, yeah, playing around with it, once you get through with the first one, should definitely make it a lot easier to go back in. It's an important tool to have, you know, with all the money matches and things of the sort that come out, you know, time for time, especially if we have a lot of stock on ground, vehicles that need to get away. And that looks very professional, very clean. And if it's uniform throughout the whole company with the MAS logos, I mean, it definitely looks a lot better than a guy in Vicenza doing something different from Aviano or what have you.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah, no doubt. It'll definitely add a lot more professional.
Yeah, I think there's so much free video editing software out there. Like if you have an iPhone, you can just turn around and, you know, use iMovie and it will allow you to actually create a movie straight away on it. But this one that you've done there, I gotta say, it seems intimidating to me looking at it because I've never used that one before. But I've learned different video editing software. There was one called Quick that used to come free with the GoPro cameras, and I learned that one and allowed you to, you know, learn how to do slow-mos and all this stuff. And once I had it down, I could do any movie then 2, 3, 4 times. So I think the main point out of this is once you've created that template, that's it. It's in the bag. Absolutely. And then you just have to change it on a weekly basis. And it certainly changes from just a dude standing beside a car to a really professional looking template. So yeah, I think I want to get my fingers dirty and have a go at it. Definitely.
I got my fingers dirty. I dipped in earlier.
That's a different podcast.
I was like a kid in a sweet shop and I said to Paul, can I play with it before? Because I think it's great. What was the mistake that I made?
First and foremost, and thanks for bringing that up. I did mention in the video, but I obviously didn't do a great job. When you download it, you still have to activate the software.
Yep.
So when you've got it all downloaded and then you turn it on, there's a little activation button at the top corner.
Right.
You got to activate it, and then you got to sign in using your Gmail or Facebook, and that allows you to activate it. It's completely free, but it does require the activation. If you don't activate it, that's why you hear the sounds and the noises because you're using a demo version.
Correct.
So Perry fell at the very first hurdle.
I did. I did this video, played with it, I put it up, and it was going beep, beep, beep over the top of my own voice.
Watch your video.
Yeah, and I didn't know why it was doing it, so I called Paul and was like, what have I done wrong?
Yeah, okay,
it was that.
Fair play, yeah, okay.
No, it's great, really cool.
Cool. So anyway, that's I think it's great, and I think it's a nice tool, and you can see, like you said, if you save it as a template, off you go. I think we should watch the final product and show you what you exactly did do. It's only like 40 seconds, but I think it definitely will show that. So let's have a quick look at that. Right.
Hi guys, Ewan here from Military Auto Source in Vicenza. Today's video I'm going to be presenting to you our deal of the week. It's this 2018 Ford Mustang EcoBoost. Now, this is the most exciting deal we've had in Vicenza for a very long time. You might be able to see the hang tag here saying that you can save $5,500 on this model. That's because we don't even have hang tags that go as high as the current discount in this vehicle. You can save $7,750 off this car right now. It's available for a 48-hour delivery, so come by, take it for a test drive, and we can show you what amazing price we can get you on this amazing car.
Not bad at all, right?
Not bad. Very good. Very good.
Not bad at all. You
Oscar
know?
to you.
Yeah.
Paul, quick question for you as well. And I mean, this probably won't relate to me being that I'm a one-man showroom, but in areas where you have multiple ISRs, now, of course, there's a deal of the week, what have you. It will still behoove each ISR to make his own individual deal of the week template, because with the phone numbers and the emails, you know, their own. So maybe a customer seeing this or what have you on the location page, what have you, think maybe they can only call you in for that particular car.
You know, there's two different ways you can look at it. I mean, certainly when you're a one-man location, and some of the guys kind of run their multi-man locations a bit like a partnership, you know, and they probably will just, you know, put the 8x8 number on there and then see, you know who gets the call, basically, you know. But that's kind of up to themselves. But certainly, there's, you know, doesn't matter if you're working a multi-man location. Go out there and make your own videos, put them on the location page, and you got a chance then, you know, of people basically watching them and then getting a hold of you on them. And if at the very least, it'll create interest that there are deals of the week, and maybe they'll inquire about what are the deals you got, as opposed to just one single one, you know. So we're going to move on to yourself, Dave, and we're going to talk about creating an audience in Facebook. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I did some training up in Grafenweer last week on this, or last month on this. Basically, what we need to find is, if you're going to be spending some money on boosting your posts on Facebook, how to find your target audience. And what we often find in a foreign country is that when you actually go ahead and boost your posts, you're spending money, and a lot of Germans or Italians or in the Far East, maybe Japanese people are liking it because they like Ford Mustangs and they like, you know, Harley Davidsons or Audis or whatever the product is. So you're wasting money because you're paying for 10-second views or whatever your ad set is. So what I did was just a very brief, very, very basic target audience instruction. So how to find a target audience without wasting money. And it's a very simple video that anyone could do. And if you're spending $10, $20 on an ad, that it will only go, well, mostly only go, obviously there's still going to be a few bit of seepage, but it will mostly only go to our American customers, which is obviously our target market. Cool. So this is how to make a target market in Facebook.
All right. Do you want me to roll it?
Roll it there, Roshan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so today we're going to look at how to set up a target audience with Facebook. And anyone who uses Facebook for advertising will tell you it can be a very powerful tool, provided that you have your correct target audience set up. Otherwise, you waste a lot of time. So the first thing we'll click on is Manage Pages. And I have all the pages that I'm managing there. So for you, you might have one or two pages that you're managing. So just click on whatever page you manage. For today, let's take Flightline Aviano, for example. So we'll click on that. I can see here, okay, there was a post that was put up by Darren Jones on Aviano Airbase advertising that we're giving away a $500 exchange gift card that you can enter to win. So I want people to know about that. So at the bottom here, I can see there's a boost post, and I want people, when they come into the PX, to say, yes, I saw that on my Facebook feed. Tell me more. So I'm going to click on boost post. And on the left-hand side is where we have our audiences. So to set up an audience, I have obviously a few audiences already set up for the various different pages that I manage. But today, for educational purposes, we're going to click on Create New Audience. So let's give our audience a name. For this one, let's call it Aviano New. And the gender here, we sell to everyone, so we leave that open. And the age, obviously, 18 to 65 is decent. That's our target market mostly, who are active duty military. And then we want to pull in a location. And the location, I'm going to type in Aviano. You can see the bottom one, the second one down there is Aviano Airbase. So I'll click on that, and it defaults to within 40 kilometers of the base. So most of the military live within about 20 kilometers. So let's change that to 20. And the whole idea here is to drill down and make sure we're not actually advertising to, you know, Italians or Germans or Japanese or wherever you're stationed, who cannot buy through our program. So the next thing it asks me for is demographics. And a common mistake here is to just type in, say, US military or something like that, because you'll see that on the right-hand side, it gives me the interests are like US military on Facebook, US military West Point, and it tells me my potential reach is 140,000 people. And much as I'd love it, there is not 140,000 military in Aviano. So that target audience is too big, and they're basically going to be a waste of money. So I'm going to show you how to define this audience correctly so that you're not wasting your boosts
and so that your posts will hopefully just come across your potential customers' phones and laptops. So first thing to type in is u.s.military. This is the most important part of this whole lesson. Top hit you'll see is employers. So click on that. And now you have people who are employed by the US military, and we can now click on suggestions. So you see here in suggestions, it opens up a whole world of different employers and job titles, and it's all US Army, Marines, Air Force, and that is our target audience because obviously they can buy through our program. So click all of them, as many as you can. It'll keep on throwing up new suggestions for you with different job titles, you know, sergeants and colonels and all that stuff. So just check all of them and then click on save. And once you set up your audience once, it's saved forever. So you don't have to do this every time you boost a post. So that's really, and it says here our audience is too specific. That's fine. I'll cover that in a second. So just like a TV chef, I'm going to show you, here's one I prepared earlier. So let's click on our Aviano audience, for example. So I have gender all, age 18 to 65. In this case, I have it set for 17 kilometers within 17 kilometers of the base. And the demographics here, you can see the employers are all Air Force, soldiers, US Navy. The only thing that's missing in there is a Jedi Knight. Okay, so that's all listed, and even the job titles there, you can see all are included. And then if you want to throw in an extra interest, I put in American Forces Network. So if you want to throw in an extra interest, put in something like that. Now, it asks me, tells me at the bottom, my audience size is too specific. It's only 9,000 people. But guess what? That's exactly what we need, too specific like that, because that's the only people we can sell a vehicle to. So at the end of the day, we actually want our audience to be that specific, despite Facebook warning you against it. So now we click on save, and that's it, saved for any future boost that you want to do. So next up, it asks us how much we want to spend on this campaign. So it's defaulted me to 100 euros. In this case, I'm going to stick in, say, 30 euros. And it defaults me to 7 days. I'm going to change that to 14 days. So I'll click on that. And it tells me then I'm going to be spending between about €2.14 a day. And I'll be hitting between 160 and 350 people per day. So the last thing we need to do is hit boost. Okay. So now that is that ad boosted for the next 14 days, and hopefully it will show up on their news feed and maybe open up some opportunities for us. It asks me if I want to boost another post. I don't, so I'm going to close that. Okay, so you can play around with your parameters. I mean, if you have, say, a one-day sale going on, you know, or if you have people that you have a surge of people on the base, you want to come by the office, you could say, okay, set your parameters to within 1 kilometer of the base. And if you drop by my office, I'll give you a t-shirt, you know, or whatever works. Just play around with it. And then you can click on insights. And this is only scraping the surface, but in the insights section, you can see how many page views you've had, how many people you reached. So you can tell what worked and what didn't work. And then at least when you're actually spending money on these posts, you're hitting our target audience instead of people that you can't sell a vehicle to.
So what I'd say, you know, in addition to that is most of the guys do kind of lose interest when you tell them they might have to put their hand in their pocket to boost their own post. But a lot of the guys pay for referrals. They're paying $100 for a referral. If you throw $100 at 4 or 5 campaigns, I mean $25 a campaign on Facebook, and you get one deal out of it, it's already paid for itself. And most of the people who start actually paying on it, they will then see the benefit of it, and they will start, you know, like Chris pays a lot of his boosts, a lot of his stuff, because he sees there's a bang out of it, you know. Certainly it takes about 4 or 5 before you start seeing interest in it, people starting to like them.
Well, I've certainly seen it myself. I mean, we put those videos out the other day about the CPO program in Italy, and we've already managed to get a few leads, which was something that, you know, we know has come from doing that and that only, you know. Yeah. So I think that's important as well, you know. What about yourself, Carlos?
I mean, no, I mean, it boosting into before. I mean, as Dave said, I mean, we were getting the wrong people. You're spinning wheels, in the air there. Having to go through them, and you see a ping come through, and you think that it is a lead. So it is a bit disheartening to find out. Says, oh my God, I mean, well, everyone that's coming through the Facebook page, no use of actually paying attention to it because they don't qualify. Now that eliminates all of that. So you're getting the cream of the cream.
Perry.
Yeah, and it's the awareness as well. You might not get something direct from that particular post or boost, but someone's doing about the program at the same time. I think that's the key as well. Don't get disheartened. There's no silver bullet. There's no quick fix to any of this. It's all about the consistency and the awareness of the program and what you have to offer at the same time.
And you could probably only spend maybe €50 a month building up your likes.
Not even,
it's
right?
probably tax deductible as well, because
Yeah.
you can actually set it up as a business account. So then actually it prints out invoices for you, and then you can put it in against your taxes. So it's just like advertising, and in my opinion, it's a better bang than advertising because people get it live, especially if it's a video, because they're how many % more likely to watch it?
We haven't decided.
Forgotten it already.
I'm going to check tonight on that. I'm going to get back with my people.
I tell you as well on that, which we've noticed on the Aviano location page is that also creates a lot of referrals as well.
Yeah.
So it may not have targeted a guy that needs a car, but what my customers do is says, hey, Perry, look at this, what came out on the Aviano location page, and then he'll put his friend's name on there as well too. So actually, I'm saying it helps out quite a bit.
I think that's good. That's for sure, And now we're going to move over to Perry, who is going to give us a little bit of information, and he's going to share some My Business page hacks. Go ahead, Perry.
Yeah, so this has got nice synergy actually to what David was just showing us.
Funny how that happened.
Yeah, that's funny. That's seamless that was,
Amazing.
Paul. Well, I'm going to talk about Google My Business. Now, before I start, I just want to mention that I am not an expert on this. There's certain algorithms within Google that nobody really knows. I know that Ash has done a lot of research on this. Rob McDonald's done a lot of research on this. And I know Chris and Matt Moles has been doing a lot with this. And I'm sure other ISRs out there. I know Emma is having success in the Ramstein area as well. This is just going to be a basic overview of what Google My Business is, what it does, and how it can improve your customer experience and drive business to your location. So Google My Business in itself is pretty much like a location page like on Facebook. So it's basically has your business opening hours, closing, and all the relative information that you need to give out to your customers electronically. Now, what Google have cleverly done is they've created, remember years ago, people from the UK, maybe Ireland, the yellow pages?
Yeah, of course.
Right? The yellow page.
US.
Basically, the yellow pages in the US as well. This is basically the yellow pages, but electronically. The hacks to this, it's, like I said before, it's impossible to dissect Google's algorithm, okay? Because they're not going to tell you exactly how it all works, but there's certain hacks out there that is certainly going to help you with your Google ranking. And the first hack is posting adverts.
Yeah.
So just like a Facebook page, if you will, you can go onto your Google My Business dashboard and post an advert. Now, what you need to do with regards to the words that you're using on this post is use their language. So every time that someone puts anything in that search engine, it's called a keyword. You need to link your description of what you're posting each time into those keywords. As an example, maybe certified pre-owned might not be something that our customers are actually searching.
Yeah, for sure.
So it should be used car or US spec used car. So we need to cleverly be careful with our wording in our post to make sure that
It's going to match basically what you think the person's going to be looking for.
Exactly, you got it, yeah. And also, you can't just be as simple as edit, copy, paste. There's no point going to a manufacturer's website and just edit, copy, and paste in a review on a RAV4 because Google will recognize that that's not a unique post.
Yeah.
And when they're indexing it, they're going to more likely push the manufacturer's website versus yours.
Yeah.
It's got to have that content, but
Yeah.
it's got to be individual to your particular
It's
business.
your homework.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No, and it makes
exactly,
sense.
absolutely, Dave,
And,
yeah.
and the manufacturers have more votes, which is another part of it as well, because
Yeah.
they're more relevant. So of course, Google are going to push you back to Ford as opposed to someone who will copy and paste something from Ford.
But it's really difficult as well to know, well, what are the keywords? What
Yeah.
are people searching?
Yeah.
But again, like in Facebook, like David was just showing us, there's insights.
Yeah.
So you can see in your Google My Business page.
Certainly when you hit sweet spots.
Exactly.
But you have to have a bit of imagination. You've got to put yourself in the shoes of your customer and say.
But
what
it'll
are
tell you
looking
how many. So it'll say how many people have Googled used car.
Used car, yeah.
Military auto source.
Yeah, yeah.
So
for. Which is really handy here, especially in Italy or Germany or in Japan, because people are using English words. Now, if you're in the UK, people could be using the word used cars and be talking about used cars off base, but they're not Americans, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I liked about. I don't know if you're going to hit that with your hacks. Is you can put videos now as well. well.
Yeah.
Actually in it as well, which I thought was, I thought it was just static ads, but you can put proper videos in there
Which
as well.
nicely ties us into, Mr. Ferguson.
Is it hack number 2?
Hack number 2
Oh,
is
looking over your shoulder.
is the pictures and the videos. Now, what's really important, and I didn't realize this until recently, is the way we label our pictures online. So Google is like a barcode. So it doesn't see our pretty pictures of exactly what that picture looks like. It just sees the coding behind it.
Yeah.
So it's really important that anything that you post online, be it Facebook, Google, on the MAS website, or videos, you actually change the name of that particular video or picture before uploading it directly onto that platform, because then it then gets an index of that keyword. So when people are searching and they type military auto source and you click images on your Google, you see all the different things that come up.
So I heard, and I don't know if this is still true or not, is you should name it like Aviano, Audi number 1. Audi number 2, Avian, and always using the search terms when you label the pictures as well.
Yeah, so this links into hack number 6, which is called spider webbing.
Right.
But also, I think it's important that we mix it up as well.
Okay.
Because it's got to kind of almost weave with each other of what. So that if you've got a link to the military auto source website on that particular post, then maybe label it military auto source Audi.
Yeah.
If it's a link to another website, which is a manufacturer's website, but you've put your content on there, then maybe it should be just the manufacturer.
Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of it's like a barcode that's constantly scanning to see what the relevance is to that particular picture, to the post, to your link away from the Google My Business. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. And at the risk of stumbling into one of the other hacks, are you going to discuss geotagging?
I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that to you in just a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
absolutely geotagging. Yeah. That's not on one of my hacks today, but that's great. No.
Yeah.
Cool.
No,
Do you want to talk about it now while we're on it?
Well, yeah,
Go.
just it's
Because
very
it
briefly.
actually comes into pictures, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm really not, as you said earlier, I'm not an expert on it, and I was reading on other hacks the other day, and it was saying if you can actually geotag, in other words, where the picture is taken, they will read that geotag. And if you Google how to geotag my picture, it'll show you how to actually embed the code on a normal JPEG image of where it was taken. And if you allow Google Street Views to use that as part of their mapping, it will definitely push you up the Google rankings as well.
Absolutely true. And hack number 3 is the content. Content is king, so it's got to be relevant to what we're actually offering. There's no point trying to, if we're not selling BMW, if you will, there's no point making a whole post about BMW. It's got to be, you can mention that within your post, but it's got to be a service that we're actually offering. It's got to be informative, and it's got to be consistent. So Google's looking for, again, just like Facebook with our posts that we do on Facebook, it's got to be user friendly. Okay. It can't be just sling something up at the beginning of the month and forget about it. It's got to be a consistent thing.
So they want you to keep on posting, and that shows you're engaging. And if you're engaging, then obviously that adds to your relevancy, that you're actually trying to provide a service, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And then one of the most important ones is the customer reviews. Again, just like Facebook, it's all about, it's a little bit more trickier than Facebook because you've got to go in with your Gmail account and the customer has to go in and do the review themselves. But I encourage everybody on a monthly basis to ask their customers.
I was with Eddie Purcell last week, and we were talking about that, and a customer came in to take delivery. The customer loved the car, loved Eddie, and I said, this is a good opportunity. And Eddie said, how do you do it? And I showed him, and then he went and sat down with the customer and said, you got a Gmail account? He says, yeah, absolutely. He turned the screen around and said, do you mind logging in here and giving us a 5-star review? He did it there and then. So it was great. And if you can get 30, 40 of them on the page, then I think then that's kind of a sweet spot then.
It is. And again, what Google want to see, though, as well, is you interacting with that particular review. So you should reply to every single review that you get. Thank you very much for the review. So it's showing that there's synergy between the people who are Google searching for you and then the actual the shop itself. All right. And then one of the most important ones, which I found out recently, something that Rob McDonald did some research on, is hack number 5. Your information needs to be consistent across all digital platforms online. Oh, wow. And that's the spelling of your name. That's the actual way you've written your address on your location. It's the way that you've put your telephone number down. So if you're going to use +44, it's got to be +44 on the website. It's got to be +44 on your Google My Business, your Facebook. It's got to be absolutely the same across, the same with your email address, the same across all digital platforms, because again, that barcode, those spiders that are going out there are bouncing from page to page to check your relevance and to check your sincerity, I suppose. You're not a rogue page.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
And then hack number 6 is the spider web. So basically, the World Wide Web is the reason I use that, is with your Google My Business and your Facebook page and the MAS page, you should be cross-posting. So you should be posting your Facebook link directly from your Google My Business post and vice versa to make the customer and the spiders bounce easier between all the electronic touches that you have online. And then hack number 7 is one to be aware of, is a warning, is that any customer or competitor could go online at any given moment and suggest edits to your Google My Business. So, Carlos, I could go onto your page and change the phone number, or recommend to change the phone number to my number. Okay? Now, you won't know anything about that, and if nothing really happens with it, after a period of time, Google will just accept that, okay, that's the norm.
Do you not get an email? Do you not get
You
an email?
do, but if he's not the editor of the page, let's just say it goes to somebody else, then obviously that person's not watching out for it, and the next thing you know, your phone number's changed on it. You know, so it definitely can happen that way.
Now, I guess this is probably can tie into something else that you don't have control of, or what's over to say competitors go into your site to give negative reviews, you know, as well. Now, that could actually maybe potentially change your rankings, you know, for where you stand in with Google, you know, there as well, you know.
Absolutely, it can. I think, you know, the best way to address that is professionally, just like they could do on Facebook. So you address it head on and say, I'm so sorry that you feel that way. You know, please provide me your telephone number and contact information so we can talk across this.
Right. Which is another reason why it's probably important. So you should stay on the Google page.
You've got to be. You've got to be. Yeah, it's asking you guys to do another thing to your workload. You've got your Facebook, your LinkedIn. But there's no silver bullet. It's the compound effect.
But this is a lot less work. You know, I mean, it's, you know, you're probably updating it twice a month, probably, you know, and, you know, just keeping it nice and clean and, you know, doing it and adding some content to it and just keeping yourself up there. So when someone Googles to look for your business, you're there, you know.
Just to give you a heads up, I just did a video, right, and I posted it on Facebook. And then I just posted on Google then, and it was the same video, the same. So it was just literally, it was 2 tabs. They're both uploading at the same time. So it was zero extra work, you know. And with the reviews, I mean, I've had a couple of ghost reviews coming in. I check the names out, and they're not even in our system at all, you know. And they're saying, "Oh, these guys, this and that," and I'm going.
But we touched upon this on the very first podcast with regards to reviews, and sometimes it's not bad to have a bad review. It actually shows that it's real.
Exactly.
You know, because there's no such thing as a perfect company or a perfect customer service experience.
I think if you encourage, as he would say, the more you have, then obviously people see the good reviews as well. You know, if there's 1 or 2 ghost reviews and you've addressed them, as you said, saying, listen, you know, give me your phone number and I'll give you a call and we can smooth this out, then at least they can see we're a responsive company, you know. Yeah,
and the one thing I will say with regards to these hacks is this doesn't mean that you're automatically overnight going to jump to the top. So it's a long-winded experience with Google.
I know.
It takes a while for you to nurture that page, and sometimes you'll have a dormant MAS page, that's a zombie page as we call them, that is still sometimes outranking you. And depending on where you're searching as well, going to geotagging, it might be that when you're at home, you're not number 1, but then when you're by the location, you are. So I think there's no secret sauce. It's all about the consistency and doing the basics right.
We definitely know it works. We can see on how many people phone the location, you know, how many people ask for request directions. So we definitely know it's a great tool. And the fact that it's free, you know, and really we don't have to pay anything for it. It's just phenomenal. It is.
And a lot of people said that it was more of an AX tool than an on-base tool. And to begin with, I did think that. And Matt Moles got me onto this. You showed me during a business valuation. Look what I'm driving the location. But for out-of-town business as well, for ISRs, you know, when there's lots of bases that we don't have manpower because they're so small. Certainly on the base as well, it's key that you have a presence.
You would imagine definitely, you know, that off-base would definitely get a better benefit to it because, you know, people do come by. But people still Google your business. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, people still Google military auto source and it will find your page. And even if you're sitting up in the canteen or whatever and you will still arrive there. You may not need to know where the directions of the place is, but you might see the ad, you might see a video. So yeah, absolutely 100% is relevant.
And I find myself clicking on these Google pages when I'm searching for business more than websites now. It's very clever way that Google have done that. They've created their own mini websites within their own search engine.
I never go onto a website. I get the info I need, and then I know where to find them or where to call them, and then I move on.
Okay, boys and girls, you can see I've donned my headphones, which means we've moved into a new segment of the show, which is our mass men. And I'm going to give a call to a guy named Jeff Mowatt. Jeff was actually on one of our original shows a few years ago, and back then he was working in Japan. So now we're going to see what's going on with Jeff and what's he up to at the moment.
Hello, this is Jeff speaking. How may I help you?
Jeff, how are you? It's Paul Ferguson.
Hey, you're doing real well, Paul.
Good. Can you hear us okay?
I can. I think there's just a slight delay, but other than that, everything sounds really good on your end.
Oh, brilliant. I'm glad to hear that, you know. Jeff, obviously I wanted to give you a call. I was just telling the guys here that obviously way back when, you're one of our original guests on our show. And back then you were in Japan, but I believe you moved.
Yes, I did. I was in Iwakuni, Japan, and then after that went to Yokosuka, Japan. And then for a brief period, I left the company, came back. But instead of going to Japan like I wanted to, they needed somebody in Guam. There was an open position, and I took it. And they told me that if I do real well for 2 years here, they will send me at the end of that time, they'll send me back to Japan. So I'm kind of at the end of going on my second year, and it should be finished by the December time frame this year.
And I'd imagine things are like night and day when you were just doing SPOs only in Japan, and now suddenly you can do a local delivery there in Guam, right?
It's fantastic. I'm loving the opportunity here. It's just everything is just amazing, and it was kind of a learning curve when I first got here. I was still in the SPO mindset, but I got to be honest. Once I learned how to do the local deliveries and get everything, the paperwork, it was kind of a nightmare at first. But once I learned the flow and I got everything under my hat, it took off. And I think I hit 69 deliveries at the close of last year.
It's a great number to hit, Jeff.
Especially we said that's a great number to hit, especially from a standing start, right?
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. There was nothing in the queue, there was nothing in the pipeline. So yeah, from 0 to 69 by the end of the year, which to me was, I exceeded my goal. You know, I kind of set 50 as my number, and I just told myself if I can hit 50, I'm doing really good things. And it just at the end of the year just kind of blew up. I would say December was one of my best months.
And so let me ask you this, because this will be a bit strange for most of the guys out there, but how do you compete against a dealer outside who sells the exact same car and the same specifications?
It's very simple. We here at Military Auto Source in Guam, we work as a team, as a family, and if you have the support from the ops people, so that they're gonna help you get that guy delivered. It's for one. So I'm confident in every aspect of the game. From the time I meet the person to the time I close him up, and to the very end when he drives off the lot, I'm confident that I have the best game in town. I already know that we have the best price. There's not anybody out there that can tell me that they can beat our price. It really is going to benefit them to buy a vehicle out here, and because of everything that's involved, it seems like it's a win. It doesn't matter. Even if they do get it here and have to ship it back with their orders, there's Z-bar protected to the rust and corrosions a non-issue out here in the salt areas. It is a concern for a lot of people.
Let me just take your corporate hat off for 1 second. I want to ask you a question. How's life down there? Because I mean that's something that would really interest us out here. I can tell you out here in Italy at the moment, it's starting to heat up. Spring is here. The bugs are starting to come out. The mosquitoes are starting to chew us up a little bit. But other than that, the snow is melting on the mountains, and we're getting ready for summertime. What's life over there like at the moment?
It's 87 during the day, 77 at night. Never really changes, never really deviates from that temperature. The only thing that does change, and it's every 5 minutes, it seems like, is there's a little bit of a rain issue. Every 5 minutes, it's either going to drizzle on you or it's going to shower on you. It just depends on the time of the year. But right now, it's absolutely beautiful. And I want to say it started in the February, March time frame.
Wow.
And it hasn't stopped.
Jeff, this is Carlos here again. I remember years ago.
Nice outside.
Yeah, I remember years ago whenever I was stationed in Osan Air Base there in Korea, I went TDY there to Anderson to play in a softball tournament. And the biggest thing that I noticed there was the damn snakes. Is the problem with the snakes? They're still in Guam.
Yeah, what they claim is there's 2 million snakes on this island, and every year they control the population by only 20,000 snakes.
Wow.
So now doing the math, I mean, 2 million snakes having babies, 20,000, it's gonna rise. It's just gonna keep rising. That's a lot of snakes.
You need St. Patrick over there.
so
We can do
far,
some introductions. He takes care of the snakes in Ireland.
I've been here since November 20th of 2017. And I haven't yet to run into one snake.
Wow.
But what seems to be a problem out here more than anything is the dogs. And there's just so many booty dogs out here. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
So,
Jeff.
yeah,
Jeff.
snakes, not so much. Dogs, yeah, there's a big problem out here with dogs.
Jeff, I heard that all the locals are big into UFC, and they basically you don't want to mess with them at all because they're really into that. Is that true?
They come across as fighters.
Yeah.
They definitely have that demeanor about them. They just seem to be on the aggressive side unless they get to know you. But once they do get to know you, I got to tell you, they're such a soft people. They're genuine. They're very heartfelt in their approach with things, and they're very family oriented. So much like the Japanese population, I spent a lot of time in Japan. I can tell you with confidence, these people are 100% family. They're all about family.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're you know what? There's a lot of Chamorros out here that buy their kids' cars even before they turn old enough to drive. Like before their 16th birthday, they're buying a car for their son or daughter. And that just really goes to show you how much they value family.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man.
The majority of them, it's really good to see. And the majority of them are in the church, very wholesome, religious bunch of people. And so, despite everything that's out there, you always hear about this island being the island of thieves. I think that just is something typically that's in the mind of a lot of people. But being here and embedded with these people, I got to tell you, this place has grown on me over the year and change that I've been here. And I love it.
You may not want to go back to Japan after all, huh? Sounds like you're sold on the place.
I'm kind of fighting. It's a bittersweet, and I'm fighting that inside. There's an inner turmoil that I'm dealing with because not only do I love the location here, I love this island has grown on me. Yeah. Not only the tropical weather, but it's just the people. Yeah. I come around to really like it. When I first got here, not so much. But now that I've been here a while, and don't get me wrong, I'm getting a farmer's tan. When every day it's getting 2 shades darker.
Jeff, where are you from originally?
And these people are like, what's that?
Where are you from originally?
Well, I grew up in North Carolina. My dad was a Marine, but I was born in Arizona. I've been a little bit of everywhere. In my childhood, I was in Hawaii for 4 years. So if I was to give credit to any place for being my childhood grow-up spot, I would definitely say North Carolina. I spent the majority of my time there. For 11 years I was there. And then joined the Marine Corps myself when I turned 18. And then after that, it's just been like a blur. I mean, I can't even remember all the spots I hit. I went to, I was in Pennsylvania, I was in New Jersey, Japan for a short period, California. I deployed with 2nd Battalion 5th Marines to Iraq and did a OIF-1 over there. So I've pretty much been a little bit of everywhere in the world. Although I love Japan. It's got my heart. My wife is Japanese. My son's there right now with her. And I got to tell you that the people there in Japan are just top notch. In my opinion, the best population on earth exists right in Japan because the people are just all family. There's hardly any crime, and it's just professionalism all over the place. And it's the epitome of where you would want to raise your family.
I think I know what your son is going to be getting for Christmas as well, Jeff. It's going to be a puppy, right? Now that you got all them dogs running around. Stick one of them in a suitcase on your way over.
Or a snake.
I would love to get a puppy. I would love it. I haven't had a dog in years. I love being part of this group of people. And if I wouldn't pick another organization to be part of. I love Military Auto Source. The opportunity that they present is unreal. It sometimes blows me away.
Hoo-ah.
I can't sometimes believe how incredibly fortunate I am to be in such a great company.
That's good to hear,
and
man.
get the support that I need. Yeah. So I thank you so much for the
Will
opportunity.
you tell Ray Scott we said hello as well?
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, say hi to Ray. Yeah, Mr. Cool.
Oh, cool. Listen, brilliant talking to you. Thanks very much for taking the call, and again, hopefully sometime in the future we can talk again, or maybe we'll have a beer again one day in the PI. Hopefully, you know.
I want that so badly. Please talk to the.
This is your broadcast. Good talking to you, buddy.
Yes,
Take
I
care,
want
buddy.
it. It's been awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity. You guys
You're
are
welcome,
good.
mate.
See you, mate. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
So we're going to move on to our shout outs this month, and you can see from the screen it's a little bit blank because I did email out everybody asking everybody to send me someone. I didn't get that many this time round, but I got Dave Moles, of course, sent me one to him and his team, and just wanted to say well done, guys. And Dave, he means it with all sincerity, he does. So so just say to his crew for sure, keep it going on. And of course I've got Perry and Dave in the room, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lash over to you, Perry, so you could say something to your guys.
Hi, team. It's been a long winter. We've struggled in the trenches, but we're coming out now, and spring is on our back. The sun is on our back. It's time to rise high, like a phoenix from the flames. We will rise together. They will know our name. We've got to try win region of the year. Thanks, guys.
Game of Thrones.
I don't know how you're going to top that, Dave.
Easy. Congratulate Carlos on getting married last weekend.
Oh, yes.
So,
Hey,
well
thanks
done,
a lot,
Carlos.
lads. Appreciate it. Yeah, for sure.
And, also, congratulate Darren Jones on getting engaged.
Oh,
which
wow.
No one knows about.
I didn't know about
Congrats,
that.
DJ.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well done, Darren. So be sure to call him up and wish him well, everyone. So,
Yeah, especially if it's a secret,
well, yeah.
Not anymore.
Especially since Darren doesn't know about it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So listen, that is the end of this show. So we really appreciate that you've hung on this far and this long into it right now. We hope you found it interesting. Perry's going to be back because we're going to be doing another basically social media podcast for the next one as well. So he might be wearing exactly the same clothes. So, that's because that's what he's supposed to wear. And I also want to let you know that we've got a Facebook page as well for Radio ISR, and it's basically facebook.com/Radio ISR. So we'd like you to tune in for some extra content as well. So again, from everybody here, we want to say good luck and goodbye.
Bye.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye bye.